My wife told everyone I was a loser. She cheated with my boss. 6 months later, she begged me for mercy. This morning, my phone blew up with 47 missed calls. Some betrayals cut deeper than a knife. I'm Alex Bennett, 35, and this is how my wife Lauren decided to dismantle my entire life in 6 brutal months. We'd been married for 8 years. High school sweethearts. The kind of couple everyone thought would last forever. I was a mid-level manager at Thompson Global. Lauren was a marketing specialist. We had a beautiful home in the suburbs. A golden retriever. The perfect picture of suburban success. Until the day everything changed. It started with small things. Lauren working late more often. Her phone becoming a sacred object she never let out of her sight. The way she'd suddenly be distant. Conversations that felt rehearsed. My first real hint came during the company's annual Christmas party. I watched her with my boss, Michael Reynolds. The way they stood just a little too close. The way their conversations seemed to have a secret language. When I confronted her, her response was chillingly casual. "You're just not ambitious enough," Lauren said, not even looking up from her phone. Michael understands what it takes to be successful. Some stories don't end where they're supposed to. Some stories are just beginning. Revenge is a science. And I was about to become its most precise practitioner. The corporate world is smaller than most people realize. Connections are everything. And I was about to turn every single one of Lauren's and Michael's connections into a potential liability. My first move was quiet. Systematic. I began documenting everything. Every email. Every suspicious interaction. Every single piece of communication that could prove their affair. My best friend Ryan, who works in digital forensics, became my unexpected ally. Off the record, I told him during a carefully orchestrated coffee meeting. Each word calculated. Each piece of information precisely placed. The company records became my obsession. Travel expenses. Suspicious meeting logs. Inappropriate communications. Digital footprints are never completely erased. I discovered a pattern. Lauren and Michael had been strategically positioning themselves for months. Subtle manipulations. Carefully placed conversations. The kind of corporate maneuvering that would make a strategic planner proud. My professional network became my silent weapon. Quiet conversations. Strategic inquiries. The kind of information gathering that happens in the shadows of corporate hallways. The most interesting discovery came from old email chains. Lauren and Michael had been planning more than just an affair. They were positioning themselves for a complete corporate takeover of my department. Colleagues who had once praised them started to notice something was off. Subtle questions. Careful investigations. The perfectly crafted image was beginning to crack. I wasn't doing anything dramatic. I was simply letting the truth gather momentum. The most dangerous predator isn't the one who attacks immediately. It's the one who understands that true exposure comes from patience. Lauren and Michael thought they were running a perfect corporate con. They were about to learn that perfect plans are often the first to fail. The landmines were set. All I needed was to watch them detonate. Precision is an art form. In corporate warfare, it becomes a devastating weapon. Over the next 3 months, I became a ghost in the professional world. Lauren and Michael continued their victory lap, completely unaware that I was dismantling their carefully constructed lie, piece by careful piece. My first strategic move involved the upcoming executive review. Corporate politics love details, and details were my specialty. I reached out to Sarah Chun, a senior HR consultant who owed me a favor from a past project. Confidentially, I told her during a carefully planned dinner meeting. Casual. Calculated. Nothing direct. The company records became my obsession. Performance metrics. Client feedback. Internal communications. Lauren and Michael had been clever, but not clever enough. I discovered a pattern of professional misconduct that would make most corporate ethics boards salivate. Falsified client reports. Unauthorized budget manipulations. Systematic attempts to undermine my position. The kind of corporate sins that destroy careers. My network of industry contacts became an unexpected intelligence gathering team. Quiet conversations. Strategic inquiries. The kind of information collection that happens in the shadows of professional networking events. The most interesting discovery came from old project files. A trail of small ethical breaches. Potential conflicts of interest. The kind of professional sins that could unravel entire careers. Each piece of information was another nail in their professional coffin. My background in strategic consulting became my secret weapon. Late nights weren't suspicious. Detailed research wasn't out of character. I used every professional skill I'd ever developed: data analysis, forensic investigation, strategic planning. Professional reputations are like spider webs, delicate, interconnected, and easily destroyed. Lauren and Michael's carefully constructed professional network began to disintegrate faster than they could manage damage control. The corporate WhatsApp groups, LinkedIn networks, and professional forums became a battlefield of truth. Colleagues who had initially supported their leadership started asking uncomfortable questions. The kind of questions that don't have easy answers. My mentor from a previous consulting firm became my unexpected strategist. I always thought something was off, he confided during a carefully arranged coffee meeting. His observations were like precision tools, cutting through their carefully constructed facade. The professional respect and potential leadership opportunities Lauren and Michael had been pursuing started evaporating. Emails became shorter. Meetings were cancelled. Professional relationships they'd spent years building were disappearing overnight. Professional social media became a minefield. Screenshots of unethical communications. Detailed evidence of corporate misconduct. The perfectly curated professional profile was crumbling in real time. Industry networks began to see the truth. The late-night strategy sessions. The hushed conversations. The pieces started falling into place. Their closest colleagues were the first to truly break ranks. Whispered conversations at industry events. Careful sharing of discovered inconsistencies. Their protective shield was crumbling. I didn't do anything dramatic. I simply let the truth do the heavy lifting. Professional networks began to collapse. Associates who had once praised their leadership were now asking hard questions. Investigations were launched. Reputations were at stake. The most dangerous strategist isn't the one who attacks immediately. It's the one who understands that true exposure comes from patience. Lauren and Michael thought they were running a perfect corporate con. They were about to learn that perfect plans are often the first to fail. The professional web was unraveling. And I was watching it come apart, thread by careful thread. Some professional careers end with a whisper. Mine ended with a calculated storm. The formal investigation was nothing short of a strategic masterpiece. I didn't just want to expose Lauren and Michael. I wanted to dismantle everything they had built. My evidence was comprehensive. Corporate espionage. Systematic professional misconduct. Repeated ethical violations. The kind of detailed investigation that would make a corporate ethics board weep with professional satisfaction. Their legal team tried every trick. Character assassination. Claims of professional rivalry. Attempts to paint me as a bitter husband, trying to destroy their success. I let the documents speak for themselves. Falsified performance reviews. Unauthorized budget manipulations. Inappropriate workplace relationship. Conflicts of interest. Each piece of evidence was another nail in their professional coffin. Sarah Chun, my contact from HR, became my primary witness. Her reputation for integrity was beyond reproach. Her analysis of my compiled evidence was devastating. The company's ethics review board's decision was unanimous. Not only would Lauren and Michael face complete professional discreditation, but they would be barred from future leadership positions. The professional network they'd spent years building would be utterly destroyed. Their professional partnerships collapsed. Ongoing project contracts disappeared. Future career opportunities were cancelled. The corporate empire they thought they were building crumbled in real time. Their own colleagues began providing additional testimony. Those hushed conversations, those moments of doubt, they became the final weapon in their destruction. I didn't seek revenge out of anger. I sought justice out of principle. The professional reputation they tried to build on betrayal would now be properly dismantled. Secured for those they'd wronged. Some people believe in dramatic confrontations. I believed in letting truth do the heavy lifting. Lauren and Michael lost everything. Their reputation. their career, their professional standing, their carefully constructed corporate life. And I walked away with something far more valuable: integrity, and a promise kept to professional ethics. Some stories end. Some lessons continue. 3 years after the professional investigation, life looked completely different. My reputation in the corporate world was not just restored, it was elevated. The industry had changed. Not just because of my specific case, but because of the conversations it sparked about professional integrity, about the importance of ethical leadership. I'd learned something profound about corporate pursuit, about justice, about the kind of integrity that doesn't come from success, but from principle. Lauren and Michael disappeared from professional circles. No dramatic exit. Just a slow fade into irrelevance. Their attempts to rebuild their careers were continually undermined by the comprehensive documentation of their misconduct. My professional network began receiving prestigious project opportunities. The business community that had once been silent was now speaking up about corporate ethics. The most interesting outcome wasn't my personal vindication. It was the systemic change my case had triggered. Companies started implementing more rigorous ethical guidelines. Leadership assessments became more comprehensive. The corporate world was becoming more transparent. I didn't feel victorious. I felt resolved. Some believe revenge is about making someone suffer. I learned it's about protecting professional integrity. About showing your true character when everything is falling apart. The phone calls from Lauren eventually stopped. The desperate attempts to explain, to manipulate, to reconnect. I'd built something she could never touch. A life of professional integrity. A career legacy based on truth. Every challenge became an opportunity. Every setback, a lesson. The day I was honored for leadership excellence, I thought about Lauren and Michael. Not with anger. Not with satisfaction. Just with a clear understanding that truth always finds its way. Some people are defined by their worst moments. Others are defined by how they rise above them. I chose to rise.